Hello, folks. It's Wednesday. Had to check that. We're just going to be on for about 10 minutes because I am honoring my capacity. I'm tired. I'm really tired. I've done a lot this week. I have worked really, really hard doing a whole lot of things across both my businesses, and I'm really tired. So I'm going to honor that by doing a shorter Q&A today. I'm popping up on Thursday and Friday as well this week with, what's going on? What's going on for all of you? I am here doing these daily Q&As this week to share what is affirming communication support for autistic children and share any clarification about my course, Affirming Communication for Autistic Children, which is for speech therapists. It's open right now and closes on Friday. So 2 days from when I'm recording this, 2 days and 1 hour. 49 hours away. That's why I'm here. Just clarifying, I put out a lot of stuff, podcasts, webinars, training, things like that. And there's all these questions that come up. I can't always get to it. So yes, happy yellow day. I love that. Thank you, Michael. I am wearing yellow. I don't own much yellow. I love colors. I love bright colors. Yellow is not my main color. Like, probably doesn't really bring out my complexion. Anyway, here I am in my one yellow jumper. So I have to acknowledge it. Today is World Autism Day, and I have just put up some stories. I'll pop it on my Instagram later, which is just clarifying some of the imagery around autism and World Autism Awareness Day and so on. There's language clarification to be done, but I just had to start with the imagery. Basically, puzzle pieces, out. Infinity symbols, in. Blue as a color to represent autistic people, out. Red is good. There's a whole campaign, go red instead. And I prefer yellow, go yellow, representing and supporting Yellow Ladybugs, who are a fabulous organization that I love and support. And I've spoken at their conference for the last 2 years, and I've already recorded my 3rd year conference. All the sidebars, but it's just such an important week to acknowledge. So yeah, if you want to know more about that, I'm going to leave it to my Instagram post to kind of explain the why behind all of that. But if something's popped up in your brain and you think, oh gosh, I told everyone to wear blue today, just pause, go and hit up my Instagram soon. I'll put the post there, or yeah, it's in my stories right now. Okay. So what are we talking about today? I have 2 questions here. One is a question about my course that I got an email yesterday, and one is a really cool question that came up during yesterday's live that I thought that's a topic for another day, meaning now. The course question, really quick and easy to answer. So I had a therapist message me and ask if my course for speech therapist is going to open again this year. The answer is very likely yes. It's only April now, so probably yes. Do I know when? Do I have the plan for when? No, I don't know when. So what happens is it's all on demand. So you get 12 months access. If you're thinking, I'm keen, I'm interested, I just don't have the time right now to do it, probably best to register now. You've got the 12 months, you've got, school holidays ahead of you. You've got different times that you can go and, do that course along the 12-month journey. Also, I've now added a podcast version to make it basically the videos are there, but also people can listen. You can listen to the whole course in your ears as well. I know that I've heard that from people, that it makes it more accessible for them to actually be able to join in, participate, and often, in many cases, re-listen to the course. So I hope that helps thinking about the timing of registering or not. Like I said, it's open for 49 hours from when I'm recording this. But yes, it will open again. I'm not saying it's never. It's just I don't know what the plan is. I need to map it out. That's the course question done. So how do I model for others if they have a non-neuro-affirming therapist? That is our question. It's a collaboration question, and I adore it, and it's something I think and talk about a lot. In fact, last week I gave a keynote presentation to Noah's Art, a fantastic organization. I will tag them later in this post, all about collaboration. So it's all on my mind, and I'm like, okay, what's the quick version for how I'm going to break this down to a little bite-sized session today? Now, the context, this came up in terms of, it's an OD I know who asked this, thinking about, okay, you approach your care and support for your autistic clients or students in a neurodiversity affirming way. Maybe you've done the training, you've done the learning, you've done the thinking, and you get it. You understand what neurodiversity affirming approaches are. Awesome. And yet the kids you support, they may be in teams where not everybody in that support team, whether it's another therapist or a teacher and, parents as well sometimes and caregivers. But in this case, we're thinking, what if another therapist in that child support team is not neurodiversity affirming, or they're doing practices that we know are not neurodiversity affirming, maybe not in that child's best interests. Maybe they are very behavioral. Maybe they're not honoring the child's true deep needs or understanding what is really going on for the child. So what do we do there? While I have a sip of water, I'm just going to do my little teaching moment. I always make things workshoppy. I want you to just take a sec and think, like, has this happened to you? Have you been in a support team where you're not aligned, all the grown-ups are not quite aligned with how to best support the child? Has that happened to you? What's the situation? Maybe you've been an adult in that care team as well, or like at the center of it. So what I suggest here, there's a couple of angles. I'm talking to you as professionals who support kids. One angle is to do this kind of connection and discussion and exploration directly with that other therapist or with that other professional in the child's care team. And a second angle is to do that with the parent and empower and support the parent to eventually discover who do they really want in the child's care team, and to help the parent understand what is the impact or what are the different approaches that that child is being exposed to by all the different people who are supporting them. We might often forget that many parents don't know that they have a choice in what kinds of support they access. Parents may not really understand what is the approach, what is the type of support. Or somebody might say they're doing a kind of support. They might say they're neurodiversity affirming, but what they're doing in their actions is not that. That happens, unfortunately, all too often. One of you says, yes, currently in this situation with your child's teachers. I'm so sorry to hear that. You're finding that school settings aren't ND affirming. It's such a mixed bag. It really is. Yes. So thank you for sharing that, and feel free to share more if you want to. I won't name you. I think if you're happy to share what's going on in that situation, we can kind of reel this, make it a little real. And so I have a 4-step process, which is an acronym, and it's the only way I remember it. And it's the only way you'll remember it, I think. And the 4-step process for dealing with these, I call them like sticky conversations or tricky situations where you and somebody else, like usually it's an adult who you're collaborating with, you're just not quite aligned and you think, oh, I've got to have that tricky conversation. So the acronym is 4 letters. PLAN is the acronym. And the first P is to prepare, which is prepare yourself to have that conversation. Part of that is to think through, what do you want to say? What are you going to ask? What is the purpose of it? And another part of that P, that preparation, is regulating yourself before you enter that conversation. If it means not replying to that email that day, waiting till the next day, write the draft, sure, and wait till the next day to respond. If it means giving yourself a real grounding practice that is going to calm your nervous system before you enter that house or enter that meeting, you need to do what you need. You need to recognize what you need to help yourself feel your best in preparation for that. So that's the P. L is listen. And this part gets missed way too often. The listen is about deeply trying to understand what is going on for that other person that leads them to be where they are or do what they do or say what they do, say what they say. Listen to understand what are their beliefs, what are their biases, what are their practices, what are their fears that have led them to do what they do. And only once you listen, and that takes some questions, a lot of like really good questioning, with an open mind, with a curious mind, with a humble mind. Once you do that listening, then A is our 3rd step. A is add on your own ideas. There is no point just telling people stuff, talking at them when you know you're disagreeing, but you're just saying your stuff again and again and again, but you may not actually be meeting them where they are or answering the questions or the fears that they actually have, or teaching them in the way that they actually learn. So all of that said, it is valuable to share your insights, your perspective, but you've got to start from a place of trying to understand, where is that other person coming from? That's A. N is next steps. N is to collaboratively figure out with that other person what the next steps will be. It is not top down telling them what to do. It is deciding with them, what is the approach next? And it might be an information gathering next step. It might be a step away and have another meeting later. It might be bringing another person into the team. If this is the case where you're having this conversation with a parent of a child and you're supporting that parent to understand what really is going on with the whole care team, there is sometimes a case to advocate for a parent to step away from a care provider. There is sometimes a case for you to, stop working with a particular family if you have tried, you've had this open-minded conversation and it's just not working. So I think it's always worth trying to find that middle ground, that collaborative middle ground you can agree on, but it doesn't always work. So there's still a point where we can say, okay, we are not aligned here. So I just need to validate that point as well. I share a whole lot more about this in my Affirming Communication for Autistic Children course, including an AI tool that I am going to demonstrate in a video I'll share later today, which basically you can come to that AI tool and tell it, this is the situation I'm having with a parent. Here's the challenging situation, and I need to know what to ask that parent so I can do that L step, the listen step. Give me some ideas of what are the questions I can ask that parent to understand their perspective better. And so this tool aims to really be like your clinical supervisor in robot form. It's kind of, there to guide you with the exact situations that you're having, rather than you having to take what I teach and only kind of do the turn it into real action in your own brain. You've got this tool to guide you through it. So that's why I created it. I am going to head to the comments now because there's some really interesting comments and I don't want to miss them. One of you said, I've been a therapist who was giving non-affirming practice due to not knowing better. This was a long time ago. Thank you for coming clean on that. I think we were all there to some degree. We're all on a journey. There's probably things we're still going to be changing, from where we are now. The child psych asked to join my session with the child via telehealth. The psych modeled affirming language. It changed my whole practice. I love that. So you were the person who made the shift, and I appreciate you for being open to do that, to listen, to learn. Honestly, as professionals, we have an ethical obligation to continue learning, to continue listening, to adapt our practice. This is an ethical obligation. We can't step away from that. And so thank you for sharing this. It's phenomenal. And that example is, sometimes just being in the moment, having shared moments, and whether it's in a meeting or in a joint session, and modeling affirming practice, that might be enough to make the shift. For some, let's say, professional pairings where that difference of opinion or perspective or practice is so big, maybe just modeling won't be enough. And that's where the listening, the discussing, and sometimes helping a family advocate to leave a non-affirming service, not as our first line, but, if that's just not going to work out, that might be appropriate. But I love that just being in that moment together, observing that more affirming approach helped you change your practice. Thank you for doing that. Now, the other one who shared about schools earlier, you've said, I'm a parent and a speechy. My child's school and most of the schools in our town continue to use behavioural approaches. I'm going to just sigh here because it's still incredibly common. And yes, so many use dojos, so like Class Dojo app, I think it is, which is a reward punishment-based system. My ND children and clients see other children being reprimanded for the adjustments or accommodations. Oh my gosh, that is, I hate that happens. I know it happens and I hate it so much. It doesn't feel safe for the kids to advocate for their needs. I'm really, really sorry to hear that. And if you want, I'm going to invite you to send me a question. Like if there's sort of anything you'd like me to give some suggestions on in tomorrow's chat, perhaps I could do that. I'd be really, really open to that. You're welcome to just DM me if you want to. I really appreciate you sharing this. It's vulnerable. It's horrible that it happens. The reality is we have so much more work to do to shift the world to neurodiversity affirming practices. Sometimes I'm in a little bubble where I see and hear only neurodiversity affirming things. And honestly, I'm lucky in that the school that my daughter is at is fabulous. They are so collaborative. They're so open-minded. They're teaching about brains and how brains work to all kids. And it's just really, really cool. It happens. It can happen. There are sparks there. It's not everywhere yet. So let's keep at it. And I thank everybody for being here, listening, being open-minded, being curious to, what are the practices that we can shift? What is the best for the kids? What is literally going to be the best for the neurodivergent kids that we are supporting? You've said hard to know what to ask. Yeah, look, honestly, feel free to message me. I'm actually going to screenshot because maybe I'll think of like how to address it further tomorrow as well. Anyway, I said I was going to be 10 minutes. I've been 16. Classic. Yeah, really, really great to have you here. I will be popping up on Thursday and Friday at the same time. The recordings go out on the podcast and on Instagram. I hope you have a beautiful day, an affirming day. If you are autistic, I hope you are especially looking after yourself today on World Autism Day, Autism Awareness Day, whatever you want to call it. But, not just today, but every day. This can be a hard day. It can be a confronting day. It can also be an exciting celebratory day. So thank you. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.